So I'm sure, I don't know if you guys have heard on the news about India and China facing off, having these little skirmishes on the border, on the India-China border. And I don't think many people really care, to be honest, like in the West, because it's an Asian thing. But I find it quite interesting. Just you know, there is a huge border between India, and China, and you got some states, kind of buffer states like Bhutan and what's the other one. So they're kind of protected, but there are other areas, particularly up in the northeast, where you have this all disputed area, and it's kind of like unresolved border disputes that are still ongoing since the Sindo-Indian War, which I think was around 1962. Anyway, there's not been any violent clashes. No gunshot was ever fired since for about 50 years. So it's always been peaceful, relatively. And both countries obviously do a lot of trade, and they have generally a good relationship. But what's interesting is the level with which they are fighting locally. The skirmishes are basically fist fights and throwing sticks and stones at each other. Something out of the Stone Age. So it's just quite interesting. There's been some videos showing some Chinese soldiers grappling or throwing something at the Indians, and the Indians doing the same to the Chinese. So exchange of words, heated exchanges. I don't know what language they're speaking. To be honest, I think one of the main causes is so you've got the rise in difference between India and China, obviously, and China is, I guess, exerting a bit more aggression post-COVID to try and capitalize on it, which is fine. They're pushing more hard on the South China Sea, and they also know that, and India knows that China and Pakistan have a good bilateral relationship, so it's kind of both sides, and also I believe India's also trying to push some stuff in the South China Sea, so there's a whole lot of politics behind it, and I don't want to get into it because I don't really know too much about the politics of that stuff, but I think, the cause is really, as I mentioned, the imbalance in power between the two countries, as well as COVID, as well as both sides building infrastructure and things close to the border. So that's when someone builds, a massive road going across the disputed area, or whatever, if it's undisputed area, the other side's going to be like, hey, what are you doing? Why are you encroaching? Even though it might not be their territory, but there'll be, or if you move military equipment or machines, trucks, whatever, close to the border, it's just going to spark a bit of tension, right? And I think what's happened is the patrol staff or the patrol guards around the borders have, sort of just got into disputes. It was not something that's come from the top, it's just, at the border, naturally you would have a little standoff if you have a disagreement. So I think that's just all it is, really. And I think we've heard also that things are quieting down, and for now there's been some talks between both governments to quell the skirmishes and the uprisings or whatever it is. So it's an interesting first quarter or more now to the year, and so much has been happening in the world. It's just madness, to be honest. How did it ever get to this? But anyway, Sri Lankan flag and a bunch of other flags in this lovely park in Jing'an. Anyway, back to India and China and the disputes, the little skirmishes. Honestly, people think some people don't even know about it. It's probably not even reported in the West, and actually most things the scuffles between China and India are not reported in the West because it doesn't really affect them. Although, having said that, I think there was some talks between Trump and the Indian Prime Minister about trying to America trying to be like a mediator between the two, and then I'm not sure. I don't know if the Indian government agreed or not, but and then China said, "Oh, it's better if Trump doesn't, meddle in these affairs." And that's another thing. Trump, it's another whole new story. Trump and China, USA, China, whatever. Yeah. Anyway, guys, if you like this very short video, this random ramble, then click the like button, leave a comment, subscribe, and let me know any other things you want me to talk about, or anything you want to know about China and Shanghai, living here, working here, whatever. So yeah, till next time.